Hi, I would like to welcome you to this part where we're gonna combine both the Google Maps and the speech recognitions. Uh, so we're gonna combine both of them because we've done them previously, the speech recognitions and the Google Maps separately. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to combine both of them. For starting points, obviously, we're going to start building some clean hash tables, give us cities and attractions. So whenever you speak and mention the city, it's going to give you the attractions, move them up to the attractions. Hopefully, towards the end, we're going to ask the map when you speak, it can recognize our voice to move south, north, east, or west. So for a starting point, actually, what we're going to do, we need to start and create some kind of class. And we're going to call the class as cities because that's going to give us cities. And uh, first of all, the cities is it's not the list of cities, but cities we're going to create a hash table, recognize the voice, pick the city, and then we can send it back to class, which we're going to say which attractions and move them up according to that. So we're going to do different parts here. So first of all, I can create a class here, new, and Java class, and I'm going to call it, let me call it cities. Cities. And cities, right, we need to create, first of all, just in case if program didn't recognize our voice, we have to have some kind of a default locations where the map moves that in case that is not being done. Right. So first of all, we're going to do, we're going to create uh, the city. So let me go and say final. I'm going to final and it's static, so I can call it by the class, and then I can call. Uh, oh, I'm going to call final statics then, and obviously it's here. I'm going to call it because it's going to be a city name string, and I'm going to call it the default city because it is default city. It is. And I'm going to say my default city is going to be Abu Dhabi. It is in case the program didn't recognize the voice, so it goes to the city. And now what we need to do with actually the altitude and the longitude for the city. So of course I'm going to say again final static, and of course I'm going to say this is going to be double. Oh, there it is, double, and I'm going to say the default. Right, I'm going to say default latitude. It is. And of course, I'm going to give the name for latitude. I'm going to pick it up from what we've done before. Latitude is from our program here. So I'm going to take it from here. And this is latitude. So I can pick this one up. You can choose any one you want. Here it is. So I'm going to put this one here and I'm going to say, okay, that's the altitude just in case. These the coordinates for uh, Zayed Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi. Then I'm going to go and say, okay, final static, double, and I want to go latitude. Default, that is because that is longitude. Latitude, it is. I'm going to give it the coordination as well, according to what we have here. So I can take this one. It is. So that's done. And here we go. Right. Now, the other things we do, then with some statements, I'm going to say another thing. Then we do the message. So I'm going to say final static. And I'm going to say, okay, I want string. And I'm going to say, well, I want to get a message actually for that. Again, we call default message. Message, this is optional, by the way. I want to get the message. Just say get a message rather than write the strings, the message. And in message, probably we can say something like welcome or welcome to Abu Dhabi, welcome to Zaid Grand Mosque, mosque in Abu Dhabi. Test. So that's all done. Now, what we need to do, we need to create some kind of structure, right? And create some hash table. Hash table has got the city name and the attraction associated with it. And this first is I'm going to make it private, and of course it's going to be hash table. Hash table usually, here it is. It takes, as you can see it takes two objects here. Here it is. So of course this is imported already for us, and I'm going to say, okay, this one is going to be two things: string, this one of them for the city, and the second one for the attraction string as well. So that's how we define that, and we need to give it a name here, and it's called places. Here it is. Now this is all been done for us, right? Now what we do, we need to create, when we create objects from the class cities, we have to get the constructor. So I can come here, I can write it, or I can build from here, generate, and obviously I'm gonna go and say, give me the constructor. Here it is, and the constructor, okay, and here's the constructor that's built for us. It is. So the hash table, string, so we're gonna send the city here, and we're gonna send the attractions usually from a list. We're going to build another class, and we're going to look at the place. So the place here, we're going to send really this one, refer to this one here. As when you click on it, it tells you which one. While when I click on this one, it is here, this one. So that's going to give us the city. We're going to create an array of two elements, and we're going to say, okay, we have to create some kind of hash table, and we can add the cities as we go along. There it is. So that's the first thing we've done here. Now what we need to do, we need to go and create first things. I want to get the attractions, so I can go and say public. Of course it's going to be a string, and I'm going to say get the attractions, right? Get, I'm going to this method, I'm going to call attraction. There it is. And the attractions, of course, right, from the city, right? So I'm going to say city. I'm going to give it a name, city. So give the city and try to get the attractions for associated with that city. Of course, there's an error here, error because this is a string. So we have to return a string. That's what it is. So we're going to say return. This is typical object oriented. We have here places. There it is. So we're going to say, okay, give me places. And of course, I'm going to say get, right, and say it asks for the objects, and the objects, of course, is going to be city. Here it is, here. All right. This, obviously, this places, if you may say, is a hash table. So we have to make sure that's going to give us an error. So what do we need to do? We have to make sure, even though it doesn't tell the error here, if you look in here, right, it is a local variable. No, of course, because this is string, I have to cast this one to a string. Right. So here it is. I'm going to say string, cast it. Here it is. All right. And of course, places. And so that's going to give it. So that's sorted. The second thing is we're going to make sure. All right. Remember previously we said there's a confidence of the words when recognize our voice. So we create a method here. I'm going to call it put a space here. I'm going to say okay, public, and of course this is going to return a string for me as well. String, it is, and let me guess. For instance, I'm going to say call first. That's all right. First match. All right, I had some with confidence, yeah, with let me call it main confidence, something like that. It is, all right, and obviously, in order to get that, you need to make sure. Remember, we have the voice we listen when we talk to the mobile, so the city, So obviously we have it's in array list. Obviously here it is an array list. It's array list. Array list, of course, is going to take strings. This is string. Here it is. So let me give it a name for this one, and I'm going to say words. And obviously, I want the confidence level for it, right? So the confidence level was float. So I can say float, and that's going to give me a list as well, a float of them, right? And I'm going to say it confidence level. So we'll call it like that, level. There it is. So as soon as that, there it is. Now, what really I'm gonna do? Now, I want to make sure that in case didn't recognize the voice. So I have to make sure I'm going to say if statement to make sure there's my systems here. If the word is equal null, right? If it's null, what we're going to do? We're going to have to go to the default. We have to go to Abu Dhabi here, right? That's the default and takes us to these two. Here it is. So, and what's the other things? The other thing is if the confidence level, right? So, or not and or either one of them. And I say confidence level. Here it is. Here it is. And this one, of course, if it's equal null, right? There it is. So there it is. Either one of them is going to cause us problem. So if that happens, what we're going to see, I'm going to go and I'm going to say, right, if it's that the case, I need to return, go back and return to me Abu Dhabi. So Abu Dhabi is default city. So here it is. I say default, here is default city. Here we go. All right. So if it's the words null, not be recognized, or the confidence level is very low, right? We have to put some kind of threshold. To put the threshold, I can put here, and I set threshold. Set threshold, and I'm going to say, okay, the threshold is going to be with the minimum confidence. So I can say final static was right at the beginning, final static, and I'm going to say, well, actually, this is going to be float because this is a float. Yeah, the confidence level. So okay. Float, and I'm going to call it, let me call it because it's static. I'm going to call it and because it's final. So I'm going to say something like that, min, and it's called confidence. All right, and they will go, for instance, this there's a 0.5, and of course because float it was f, so that's a small f, it is right. So obviously I'm going to come in here, I'm going to say also okay, here it is. So now if with the sentence says here, I want to see actually how many words is being picked up. So I can say int number of words, for instance, equal the words themselves. And because this is an array list, I want to see how many words I got. So of course, I'm going to go for the size. This is not length. All right. This will give you length because static. This is dynamic array. Here it is. So you have to go for the size. All right. And I need something so as enumerations, right? For so I can go for the enumerations. Here it is, enumerations. Enumerations and take an object. Of course, I'm going to take a string. Right, here's a string. There it is. And I'm going to call it cities. I want to see what I'm getting. Here's the cities. Now, having done this, really, what we need to do, now we create a loop. So we can say for int of I equals 0 and I less than, right? We go the two of them, right? Two. Number of words, this one, here it is. So I can say this is less than a number of words, there it is. And definitely you have to make sure because this you do that's one. What about actually the confidence level? All right. So I'm gonna say okay, I less than the confidence level, right? And this that I can say I do the increase in the increments and plus plus it is, right? So having done this, all right, I'm gonna go and say okay, there it is. Now if I look at this ones here, both both of these here, uh, right, I say this is 0, this is I less than, and I less than confidence level, right? Because this is in here, I have to say how many of them. So I have to go for length. Here it is, right? Definitely. Here you go. Because number of words, you can do this one, or you can go and do this one, and you're going to say words, those size, if you want. Here it is. So that can be done, or you put this one like that. Obviously, you can do the same things, right? For confidence levels as well. So either do this, or you do replace it with number of words, right? So number of words. Here it is. Right. Having said that, now what we're gonna do? Now, having done this, obviously we're gonna check checking if the statements. What's the confidence level? If the confidence level, right? If the confidence level here is less than my threshold, which is 0.5. If it's less than, what I'm going to do, it means it's not confident actually what came out. If it's less than minimum, all right, I can say minimum. Here's the confidence level. There we go. And I say min confidence. All right, I'm sorry, that's one. Is this one. Min confidence level. There it is. So I can come here and okay, I can say this one, if it's stated, it needs a bracket. It's that. It is, and I'm going to say, okay, if it's less than min, confidence. It is. Right. So what we're going to do in that case, if it's less than confidence level, really, I don't want to do anything. So I'm going to say, okay, bracket for me, right? This here, confidence level, right, of what? Remember, we are in a loop, so we've got I. So obviously, you're going to check on each one of them. There it is, right? So I'm gonna break. If I break here, can come here, and I have to return the default city. Default city. There it is. Right. Now, what about if the confidence level is not less than else, which is I'm going to do another. If it's not really, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the loop. It means we found that here. So of course I'm going to say string. Remember this one, because there's no brackets here, it means break only. It works. So this one looks like exactly like that, like this, right? But because there's only one line, you don't need to put that here. There it is. So obviously, right? But you can do it if you want to, right? It's harmless. So I can put this one. If it's the case, here it is, and I put a bracket. So here it is. If it's less than, I can create a break. So don't need to. However, if it does, right? So let me get string, get words. Right. I'm just to make it easier, words, and of course I'm going to say okay. In order to get that, for the words, this is array list. To get the elements of the array list, just like what we've done in the constants I, this is an array list. Of course, I'm going to say words, it is dot get the index, right, of I. It is. So to make it easy for me here. All right, so I've got the words here, and now what I'm going to do. Let me go the cities. I want to get the keys where the city I found that. So I can say cities. Here it is. Of course, I'm going to cities, and I can say okay, this is equal. I got this ones here. Remember places. If I go in here, places. This one's here, places. So I'm going to do places. Here it is. Here it is. Don't get it. I want the key to get that for that. So I'm going to say give me the keys. There it is. So as soon as I did this, now I'm happy and I can do the while loop. While it is. So I'm going to go through them. If cities, right, which is this one. If cities here, right? If cities, look at that. This is hash table, has more elements. What I'm going to do then? In that case, I go in here and I say, okay, if I do this, give me the city, right? So I got a string, there it is, and I'm going to say string city equal, of course, I'm going to say cities dot, right, next element. So I'm iterating over the cities here, there, right. Soon I did this, here it is, and all I can say now, if I find it, I say if word, here it is, right. If I say the word is equal, right, and ignore cases, here it is. I say okay, of what? Of the city. Here it is, right. If that's the one, so all I'm gonna say, I'm gonna return it, return the words, right? Return words. There it is, right? And that's actually has been, now we've created the class is called cities. Now it's very important. Now when your program is start your program, actually here it is, start the program, and the program straight away is going to give you, when I run the programs here, and it's going to give you straight away, if I check on this one, it's going to give you the map straight away. All right. The point for this, that's going to give you the map, but we don't want to do that. That's the grand mask here. There are the grand masks here. So if I go here, it tells me it's the grand mask here. So there it is. All right, it's here. There you go. So really, we don't want to do this go straight away. What do we need to do? We need, first of all, to talk, to recognize our voice, and therefore we don't need to start with the map. What do you do then? You need to go to the manifest file, here it is, and we need to change it. We need to change this one in where we need to, the name, it does not start at map activity. I don't want this to go here straight away. I want it to start with my voice recognitions program, right? And that has to be changed here. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a file, another file, or I'm going to create an activity. Here it is. I can go in here and I'm going to go create an activity for me. There it is. I need the activity to start with. So I'm going to start with an empty activity, and I'm going to just call it main activity. I'll leave the same name, and I'm going to say finish. That's going to create an XML file for me for the layout, and of course here it is, the main activity. Now what we're going to do, really, this is associated, and if you look in here, it is, and we go to layout, this one creates for us activity main, right, which is this one. All right, so I can have the splits and I see the codes here now. And that's what we're going to work on next on this one. So we need to communicate between the main activity class and the cities, and to recognize our voice. When I get that, then we can call the map activity using intent. All right, and we're going to do this, and it seems here it's working successfully. So next video, we're going to work on the main activity and see how we can recognize the voice. Thank you very much for this video, and we'll complete actually